subject of democracy, I would like to make an announcement. We do not live in a democracy. A democracy is majority rule. A constitutional republic is what protects us from the tyranny of the majority. Now, I hope we're clear on that. This is not a democracy. Thomas Jefferson and numerous other founding fathers, as well as some Greek philosophers, have stated that democracies do not work. And that is not what we have here.
The voter fraud, what's going on in that arena? Oh, incredible election fraud. I saw this in Iowa, and the Ron Paul campaign didn't want to admit it. Then even the New York Times in Maine had to say Ron Paul won Maine. He really won South Carolina. He won Nevada. But because they cheated him on those first states, then people said, well, he can't win.
We're not going to vote for him, yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, the momentum began to shift. But now Ron Paul has come out and said, yes, there's evidence of fraud. He doesn't want to sound like a sore loser, but the facts are the facts. If you look at Maine and Iowa, Ron Paul was cheated. I mean, they had 6 counties in Maine where Ron Paul had double-digit leads. And the Republican Party leadership said, you know what? We're just not going to count those counties. So Ron Paul has been cheated, but people shouldn't get bummed out. The fact that he did so well, the fact that that message of liberty is out there, the fact that most people now know the Federal Reserve is private, not federal, we're beginning to gain ground. So the fact that they had to cheat Ron Paul shows you how desperate the system is.
It sure is. Let's go to...
The reason why I subscribed, as like I said, was I needed to talk to a lawyer to help stop the rape, murder, torture of people in my church, a mainstream Protestant, non-denominational church, Dr. Gene Scott's Los Angeles University Cathedral in downtown Los Angeles. A cadre of a mixture, obviously government sanctioned, CIA sanctioned. After all, the CIA was formed entirely of Nazi spies. Under the condition, all they did was just spy on Russia and give us information about Russia. They've since broken their charter, as Kennedy pointed out, was going to tear them apart because they were becoming autonomous, operating on their own. They brought enemy soldiers in and put them in the Pentagon. They've planned the downfall of America. Any case, like to say, they tortured my pastor. They stole money right from the collection plate. Terrorism. Government's behind terrorism, folks. And Wall Street's behind government. And we have been sold out. This is United Nations takeover of America. After America is neutralized, the only country in the world where the public might turn over their government and spoil the whole global plan, because America's finances, etc., is crucial to their global takeover. They figure then that every other country is going to be an easy pushover because the public doesn't even have any arms. No excess food, not much in the way of extensive communication and/or even transportation, and largely aren't educated, and however, they tend to be more philosophical and less easily fooled than the American public, because a lot of the public tends to just decide what they want to believe, and they decide that truth is what serves them, whatever makes them feel the best, feel the safest, feel the happiest. That's got to be the truth, because they're not stupid. That's kind of their reasoning, that they just know. You know, they don't have to look at something. They don't have to analyze something, logicize, just, you know. But in any case, I was trying to say the people in my church, most of them now have been murdered. Some are still alive. Others are still basically under house arrest. But George Bush gave the Chinese the eminent domain power to take homes that they own the paper on, that they've purchased of government debt, etc. And I believe that the Golden Gate Bridge has already been given to the Chinese. Our huge military base that was once in Long Beach, California, of course, was given to the Chinese. American submarines and all have under treaty are kept out of operation to make it safer to attack America, because the powers that be, the multinational bankers, financiers, Wall Street, and their conspiratorial elements of the payoff puppets in government who they have dirt on and control, of course, have built underground cities out of the black budget, the secret budget, for themselves, and they really want to entice Russia and China to attack us. Then they'll say, oops, you know, we no longer have any computer entry records, the banks and everything, we just have to start over, and you know, whatever, and they'll conveniently have paper documentation of whatever they want to have and not have for whatever they don't want to have. It'll basically, they figure that it'll absolve them of the wrongdoing. There won't be any way to trace their criminal activities then. Already, none of the big financiers, even though this financial hoopla that's been going on is much bigger than it was some years back when many of them went to court, went to jail. I think only one has this time, and then apparently he wasn't really one of the serious ones, just something to get a bone to toss to the CIA-controlled media. See, I think the reason why the United Nations started targeting the press, well, started with my church first, Dr. Gene Scott's church, was because he had the largest communications network in recorded history worldwide. Yes, that's true. Shortwave and television and whatnot, the largest communications network in history. And which represented one heck of a lot of people, and they were afraid that, you know, that they've controlled all the mainstream news. People just sit down at night and watch TV, and they figure, well, that's all that happened in the world today. Nothing much, nothing to disturb them. They don't talk about foreign troop activity on their own soil or the building of death camps, or the other people that have risked their lives come out and say that Barack Obama had worked for the CIA in, I think it was Nicaragua, and so they knew they could control him, so they covered his non-citizenship for him and then used that as a way of controlling him. But basically, he sits there at the White House and watches basketball games and TV most of the day, and he just does what he's told to do and says what he's told to say, and he's got a great job. But it's important that they make you believe that there's hope. The Democrats or the Republicans, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, oh, it's this. That's to keep you distracted. I'm sorry, I wish there were a peaceable way to do this. Alex Jones would say that there is. And I suggest that you go to Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com and check into all the data that Alex Jones has to offer, because he has a huge amount of documented information. It doesn't matter if you like the color scheme or if the pattern's busy or not plain enough, or if you like he has kind of a coarse voice. But the bottom line is, it's the truth, folks. It's the skinny that nobody else can give you. I think a lot about my pastor, Dr. Gene Scott. He was magnificent. They made him go away and then put a Catholic Italian mafioso, Jewish, well, mafioso is Jewish anyway, but Jewish, Catholic, Italian. Catholic is the big part. For instance, Hitler was Catholic, Jewish, Catholic, but the church wanted to eliminate the Jews, and so, you know, he was Catholic first and foremost. Like, I think before, was it Malachi Martin, a Jesuit priest? The Jesuit order, I think what got him murdered, it was the fact that he went public when Art Bell had the show before George Norrie, and in his own, well, I'll try to find, I've got hundreds and hundreds of things, and I don't know where his is now, but as I find time, I'm trying to locate his exact words so you can hear it for yourself. But he says the Jesuits are trained in the art of battle. He disguises it a little bit and says battle, but that's true, the art of battle. And I mean, torture, He also talks about how pedophilia, how children can be used, and why they're trained in in child sex, how they can use that as part of their warfare, because they can get people they want to compromise to have sex with a child, and then they can control them, and not to mention, well, other things too.